Bismillah. Inshallah, we'll continue with the third introduction, the second part of the third introduction, which a lot of students find to be the hardest, which is the increased letters. So the increased letters, the Shaykh, he split into two here: the root letters and that which is increased. So the first one, we'll discuss the root letters, where he says إذا كان في الموزون حرف رابع أصلي. If there is in the word that is being scaled a fourth letter that is a root. A fourth letter that is a root. زيد في الميزان لام ثان هكذا. So when there is a fourth letter in the word that is being scaled, we increase the scale itself by a lam. So before we get into this, I forgot to mention the majority of the words in the Arabic language will go back to 3 root letters. Then there's a small group that will have 4 root letters. That will have 4. So in this case here, we increase by a lam. So now we have the fa, the ayn, the lam, and another lam at the end. If we were to look now at the first example, we have basmala. Basmala, which means to say Bismillah. Basmala. So the ba here, it corresponds to the fa. The sin will correspond to the ayn. Then the mim will correspond to the lam. However, basmala, it has a 4th letter, which is that lam at the end. So now what we do is we increase the scale by an extra lam. So now we have fa'lala. Basmala is on the scale fa'lala. Then we have dirham. Let me just mute everyone here. Then we have dirham, which means dirham. It is on the scale fa'lalun. Dirhamun is on the scale fa'lalun. Dirham. It's right there. Fi'lalun. Okay, fi'lalun. Dirhamun is on the scale fi'lalun. So now, just like I mentioned earlier, the dal will correspond to the fa, the ra will correspond to the ayn, the ha corresponds to the lam, and then you have the extra root letter, which is the mim, which will correspond to the extra lam. Then you have zukhruf on the scale fu'lulun, zukhrufun. And just as I mentioned earlier, the extra lam at the end. So these are a small group of words that will be on the scale, or not on the scale, but where the lam is increased. Yeah, because if you look at the second one, as a benefit, verbs do not take tanween. They don't take tanween. So if you look at the second two, dirham and zukhruf, those are both nouns. That's one way of differentiating between a noun and a verb. That the nouns, they take tanween, and the verbs never take tanween. Now if you go into the second slide, here I've made it a bit easy. Here we'll discuss the huruf zaida, the increased letters. Here they're not part of the root, these are increased letters. Okay, so he says al-huruf zaida, the letters that are increased or added. على حروف الميزان عشرة مجموعة في سألتمونيها. The letters that are added are, he gave an acronym which is سألتمونيها, which means you have asked me already. And there's others, but the Shaykh, he picked سألتمونيها. These are 10 letters that are added onto the scale. For example, if you look at akrama, the first example, akrama. Who can now guess the root letters in akrama and what is being increased? Yes, so the hamza, yes. So the kaf corresponds to the fa The ra will correspond to the ayn. The mim will correspond to the lam. So now here the highlighted letter is the increased letter from sa'altumuniha. From sa'altumuniha. So when you were to search for the word, what you'll search for is the fa, the ayn, and the lam. These are the root letters if you were to use a dictionary. These are in the old dictionaries. However, in the more modern dictionaries, it's made a bit easier. We don't need to search exactly the root letters. But if you were to use an old dictionary, you search the root letters and then you go through the meanings until you find the word. So the next one, istakhraja. Istakhraja. Where are the root letters in istakhraja? If you were to look at your book, not kha, ra, and jim. The increase is the alif, sin, and the ta. Is that from sa'altumuniha? Look at the letters in sa'altumuniha. All of them are in sa'altumuniha. Then you have another one, ma'rufun. Ma'rufun. Who else can now give us the root letters in ma'ruf? On the scale, maf'ulun. Look at the scale, maf'ulun. Yes. If you look at maf'ulun, where is the fa, the ayn, and the lam? Then go to the word that has been scaled. What is corresponding to the fa, the ayn, and the lam? And those are your root letters. So you have maf'ulun. Someone's already answered it on the Zoom. It's ayn, ra, and fa. Ma'ruf is something that is known. Ma'ruf, correct. So the verb is arafa. Ma'rufun. That's how you search it. And the increased letters are? Where are the increased letters? In the mim? In ma'rufun. The last one, what are the increased letters? In ma'rufun, what are the increased letters? Mim and the ra. And the wow, yes. Whatever's highlighted here, I'll give you the answer. The highlighted letters are the increased letters. Okay? So that's the difference. You have some words that are root letters, and then you have another section which has increased letters that are not part of the root. I've kept this part short because it's a bit complicated. As we get into the scales, we'll come back to it again and then we'll go through it properly. And then you have the second star where he says وَقَدْ يَكُونُ الْحَرْفُ الزَّائِدُ, that the increased letter can be بِتَكْرَارِ الْحَرْفِ الْأَصْلِ, a repetition of the root letter. For example, we have حَدَّثَ. حَدَّثَ. What has been increased in حَدَّثَ? The dal. So we have two dals. حَدَّثَ. So حَدَّثَ means to inform. Now if I was to remove the extra dal and we have حَدَثَ on the scale فَعَلَ, it means to happen. ماذا حدث? What happened? So we've increased the root letter and gave it a shadda. That is حَدَّثَ on the scale فَعَلَ. And all of these scales will come individually and we'll cover them one by one. حَدَّثَ on the scale فَعَلَ. Then you have تَكَلَّمَ. تَكَلَّمَ. Who else can answer what has been increased in تَكَلَّمَ? Ta? The ta and the lam, yes. So the lam here is a repetition of the root letter, and then we have the ta from sa'altumuniha. Takallama, it means to talk. Ihmarra, to turn red. Ihmarra. Someone else, please. Ihmarra. What has been increased? Abdul Hakim, ihmarra. What is the increase in ihmarra? Look at the scale if'alla and see what's corresponding. Ihmarra on the scale if'alla. The increase is? Alif? Alif and Ra, correct. Ihmarra is being increased by the Alif at the beginning and the repetition of the Ra. On the scale, If'alla. And this scale will also come to us. Okay, so we'll go to the fourth introduction now. Al-Muqaddimatu al-Rabi'ah. Ad-Dama'ir. Now he wants us to know the pronouns. Ad-Dama'ir. Pronouns. Or you can say Damir. Ad-Damir is one pronoun. The Jam' Ad-Dama'ir. Pronouns. Okay, Ad-Damir is one pronoun. Pronouns, you'll say Ad-Dama'ir. Isman. They are of two. Okay, so we have pronouns that are split into two. The first one being ضمير متصل. This is a connected pronoun. ضمير متصل. ضمير متصل. Connected pronoun. And the definition is هو الذي يتصل بالفعل. It is that which connects to the verb. مثل التاء والنا. And we've already taken this. And he's going to give us examples here. For example, علمت ودرسنا. Where's the pronoun in علمت ودرسنا? The na and the tu. Yes, the ta and the nun. With the alif. Those are our pronouns here. علمت meaning? I knew. And darasna, we studied. No, not I left. Darasa. Darasa, to study. Darasna, we studied. This one should be clear, because we already covered it in the first few weeks. And you should know the other pronouns as well. And he says here, وَهَذَا سَيَأْتِي بَيَانُهُ فِي تَصْرِيفِ الْأَفْعَالِ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. And the clarification for this will come in the conjugation of the verbs. However, because we've conjugated the verbs, this part should be easy. So the other pronoun, the second one is ضَمِيرٌ مُنْفَصِلٌ. This one is the disconnected pronouns. So you have two types. A connected pronoun that connects to the verbs. And then you have the other one, which is ضَمِيرٌ مُنْفَصِلٌ, which does not connect. هو الذي لا يتصل بالفعل. It is that which does not connect to a verb. Has everyone written that definition? Two definitions. And then he said, وهو كما في الجدول الآتي. It is as it comes in the following table.
Is it that which doesn't connect, or is disattached?
It doesn't connect at all. It will always come by itself. It stands alone.
It cannot connect?
No, it will never connect. So for example, it will come in the following table here. Next table, we have, I believe, the middle, how many? 1, 2, 3, repeat. So you have around 12 pronouns here.
So if you say alimtu,
no, the second one doesn't connect. This one. These are disconnected.
no.
This first one connects to the word.
The damir for alimtu.
Yeah.
What is it?
The two. The ta.
But what is it?
It's a dhamir.
So it's not ana.
It's a dhamir that means ana. So we've taken it in the first lesson. If you go to page 11, it gives you all of them. But we'll go to that after in a bit. So if I go through each one and then you write down the definition and then you memorize each pronoun, you have huwa, which means he. Huwa means he. Huma means they. Speaking about two. Huma. Huma, they two. Hum is they again, but for three. We have huwa, he, huma, hum. He, they, and they again. One's for two, and the hum is for three or more. Then you have second for the ghaib, here, she. Huma again repeats, they. So you have huma that comes twice for they, masculine, and they, feminine. Then you have hunna, which means they for three or more women. That is for third person. واضح? Then you have second person masculine, which is anta, you. Speaking to one man. You say anta. Anta Muslim, for example. Or anta rajul, you are a man. For two people we say antuma. Antuma.
Is this you or
Yeah, well, this the whole thing is for you, second person. Then for three or more, you'll say antum. So for everyone here, I'll say antum. Three or more, antum. So for second person male, we have anta for one, antuma for two, antum for three or more. Then we'll do the feminine of second person. One woman, you'll say anti. Anti. For two, we'll repeat again, antuma. And for three or more, second person will say antunna. So if you've noticed here, there's 6 ways of saying you. In Arabic, 6 ways. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. That's the 6 ways of saying you. Now we'll go to first person, which is for both masculine and feminine. He says mudhakkar wa mu'annath. Ana means I, nahnu means we, and nahnu again means we, for 2 and for 3. So how many are you memorizing? 6?
6 years.
No, with the whole thing.
15?
Does that include the repeated ones?
No.
Okay. So if you can memorize that, it will be very, very good. It's very important to know. How much? 15, including the repeated. Okay. So if you memorize all of them, inshallah, you have the whole of Ramadan where we have a break to memorize the 15. Those are the pronouns. And if you go to the next slide, the pronouns, you can use them with the verbs. For you can say huwa fa'ala, he did, huma fa'ala, they too did, hum fa'alu, they all did. Or you can use it as a normal sentence, huwa muslim, huma musliman, hum muslimun, hiya muslimatun.
Example sentences like antuma or
Antuma, I'll say antuma muslimani, you two are Muslim. Antuma fil masjid, you two are in the masjid. Anta Muslim, you are Muslim. Antum muslimuna, anti muslimatun, like that. Just how you'd use a pronoun in English, that's how these are. Okay, so the pronouns are just as we have in the English language. It's only the attached pronoun that is different. Now, so let's go to the 5th introduction, which is the last introduction, al-Muqaddimatul Khamis, the 5th introduction. Here he gives us the 3 categories of the verbs. The 3 categories of the verbs. We have madin, which is a past tense verb. Madin. And all 3 will come in the book. All 3 of these will come in the book. Madin, past tense. Its definition. هو الذي يدل على وقوع الفعل قبل زمن التكلم. It is that which indicates to an occurrence of a action before the time of speech. That is the definition of a past tense verb. For example, jalasa, he sat. وَشَرِبَ, he drank. So when I say he sat, did this happen after or before when I said it? Before. He sat. He drank. This happened before the time of my speech. That is a past tense verb, and that is what we'll do until we get to the 6 letters. Then we'll do a mudari'. A mudari'. That is the present tense or future tense verb. Mudari'. The definition being هو الذي يدل على وقوع الفعل. It is that which indicates to an occurrence of an action في الحال, now, an action happening now, أو الاستقبال, or in the future. So it is an action occurring now or in the future. For example, when I say يجلس, he is sitting, that's an action occurring now. يجلس, the present tense of jalasa. Or I'll say سيشرب, he will drink. And we made it a future tense by attaching the scene at the start of the verb. Okay. However, this is not important to know. Now, the only thing that you should know is the definition. How do we make it a present tense or future tense will come in the future lesson. And the third one is an amr, which is a command. So madi, past tense, mudari', future or present tense verb, and amr will be the command. The command is هو الذي يدل على طلب. It is that which indicates to a request. It's a request. ووقوع الفعل, and the occurrence of a verb or an action في الاستقبال, in the future. For example, I'll say اجلس, sit. That's a command. You tell someone to sit. اجلس. That is the command for جلس يجلس. Or I'll say اشرب, drink. اشرب, drink. So the 3 ماضي, مضارع, وأمر. Those are the 3 that we have. ماضي, مضارع, وأمر. And then in page 9, he shows us the 3 scales that we've taken: فعل, فعل, and فعل. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the meanings for each verb, and then you can write it down, and then you can memorize it as well. خلق, we've taken that. What's the meaning of خلق? To create, or he created. طلب, yes, he sought or to seek. وقرأ, he read, to read. ودرس, he studied. عبد, he worshipped or to worship. عبد. فرح means to become happy, or he became happy. حفظ, meaning to preserve or memorize. This is page 9. حفظ, he preserved or memorized. حزن, on the scale فعل, to become sad. And فهم, to understand, or he understood. And alima, to know, or he knew. To know, or he knew. Then we have the 3rd scale, fa'ula. Fa'ula. Sahula, to become easy, or became easy. And ba'uda, to become far. And qaruba, is the opposite, to become close. Hasuna is to be good. And karuma is to be kind or generous. That's 15 verbs that you can memorize until the end of Ramadan, inshallah. That should take you to the end of Ramadan.
I don't understand the specific ones, like to become happy, to become sad.
So you'll say فرحت, I became happy. Or فرحت, you became happy. Like that. Have you written them all down? Okay. Inshallah we'll... And page 10, you should know page 10. If you go to page 10, you should know page 10. Page 11 is the pronouns, the attached pronouns onto the verbs. And from next week, inshallah, we'll take from page 12, which is the 4-letter verbs. So by now, you should memorize the jadwal, fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alat, until the end. And it will repeat for the 4, 5, and 6-letter verbs. Af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'lala. I think we can do that all in one sitting. Right? If you memorize the 3-letter verbs properly, the jadwal, the table, then the 4, 5, and 6 letters will be easy to memorize. So inshallah we'll take some nahu. That'll be it for sarf. We'll go to the nahu, which is the cases, which is the i'rab. This is for those that missed the first book, they can catch up. Al-i'rab, that nouns in the Arabic language will have one of 3 case endings. We'll take one of 3 case endings. The first one being marfu'. Marfu'. This is when the word takes a dhamma or dhammatain. This is a word that is marfu'. For example, here we have qala nuhun. Nuhun ends in a dhammatain. قال نوح. وانشق القمر ends in a dhamma. So al-qamar here is also marfu'. So you have one that ends in a tanween and one ends in a dhamma. Why is one ending in tanween and the other in a dhamma? Who remembers?
Definitely.
Yes. Well, they're both definite. Nuhun is definite as well. But one has a alif and lam. So the tanween is dropped. Without the tanween, it will become qamarun. Sah. Qamarun. And then the last one here, وَجَاءَتْ as-Sayyāratun. وَجَاءَتْ as-Sayyāra. Sayyaratun in modern time means a car, but here it is a caravan. وَجَاءَتْ Sayyāratun. So that is al-marfu'. The second case is al-mansūb. Al-mansūb. Now we have جَعَلَ اللَّهُ الْكَعْبَةَ. جَعَلَ is a verb on the scale. فَعَلَ. Both coming together. جَعَلَ اللَّهُ الْكَعْبَةَ. So here al-Ka'bah has a fatha. It can have a dhamma and it can have a kasra. But here in this verse, or in this ayah, it has a fatha.
Nouns and skills.
Yeah, the nouns will be, this sarf book will cover nouns as well. But first we go through the verbs, then we'll do the nouns. Now we have وَضَرَبَ on the scale فَعَلَ وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا. Here we have a fathatain. So the first one we have 1 fatha, second one we have 2 fatha. We should know as to the reason why one has 2 and one has 1. These are all mansūb. When the noun takes a fatha or fathatain. فَبَعْثَ اللَّهُ غُرَابًا. And Allah sent a crow. بَعَثَ on the scale. بَعَثَ on the scale. فَعَلَ. And the last case will be majroor. Majroor. This come in the Medina book. These are caused by harf jar, yes, huruf jar. So here we have that which takes a kasra or kasratain will be majroor. Min sharri ma khalaqa. Min from sharri. Sharrun meaning evil. Min sharri from the evil. Ma khalaqa, that which he created. Then we have فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. Both of these words now are majroor in the state of jar. على صراط مستقيم. On a straight path. These words are all al-majroor. Is that clear? So the grammar we're taking slowly. We've taken last week, we took how to make it definite, how to make it indefinite. And this lesson here, we've taken the cases. These are very, very simple. The most important thing now is to memorize the terminologies. We have majroor, mansoob. What's the last one? No, that was the first. Majroor, mansoob, marfu'. Yes, those are the three. And each one, as we study grammar, we'll know why this one is majroor, why this one is marfu', and why this one is mansoob.